What's up guys, we're back with another reaction video. This time we're checking out 13 etiquette rules that are in the US that surprise tourists. Now I want to know if this is straight nonsense or if it's actually legitimate. So why don't we just jump into this and see what it's all about, alright? Let's do it.
So our parents teach us to be polite, but what you learned as a kid doesn't always apply when you're in another part of the world. So if you're heading to the US anytime soon, I've got some tips for you on what we Americans consider the rules of etiquette, and some stuff that's totally okay in the US that other countries might consider rude.
We'll just see it by that, Skippy.
Let's start off with my favorite, food etiquette.
What?
Number 1. Feel free to ask for some condiments. If you're eating out and your food is tasting a little bland, it's completely fine to ask for salt, pepper, or sauces to add a little zing to your meal.
Is that not normal?
I know some places in Europe see it as an insult to the chef if you start adding a little spice of your own.
Meal. I get to do
don't worry about that in the US. Nobody's going to be offended or give you weird looks if you ask the waiter for a bottle of ketchup. Even if you're at someone's house visiting, they won't see it as a jab to their culinary skills either. Some just like it spicier than others.
I ask for ketchup everywhere I go. Yeah, that's legit.
Number 2.
True. That is true.
Always tip. Okay, well, maybe not always, but it's a rare occurrence if you don't tip your waiter, hairdresser, cab driver, and so on.
That's true.
And only if the service was really awful.
Very true.
But even then, a lot of Americans feel guilty about not leaving any tip. The rule is 15 to 20% of the bill. So get ready to do some mental math each time you eat out. I've heard that tipping isn't a thing in some countries, especially in East Asia, where restaurant staff always provide good service no matter what.
I'm so shocked that
in
it's
the
not
US,
everywhere.
It's simply a sign of gratitude that your waiter did a good job, even though they're probably tired, their feet hurt, and they've got a bunch of other tables to tend to.
It's shocking to me that that's
Number
not
3,
worldwide.
Clean up after yourself at fast food restaurants. Of course, if you're going to the States, I imagine a lot of your eating out will be done in fast food joints. You'll see a lot more of those than your traditional sit and be served by a waiter types of places. But anyways, if you're finished eating and your tray is now full of wrappers, used napkins, and empty boxes, take it to the trash can and dispose of the garbage yourself.
Yes.
Most fast food places don't have a separate cleaning staff for that. It's pretty much always the cashier that needs to find time between ringing people up to go clean up the dining area.
That's just common etiquette.
We try to help them out a bit and clean up after ourselves.
Do people
Number
really
4,
just leave their garbage everywhere?
Open gifts immediately in front of the giver.
I hate this.
Now, I was pretty surprised when I found out that opening a gift as soon as you get it is considered bad manners in certain parts of the world.
Wait.
I guess some cultures see it as kind of greedy when you start tearing into a present right away. In the US, it's pretty much the opposite. Open it as soon as you get it, right in front of the giver. That way, they can see your reaction and you can thank them right there on the spot. There are also
I hate that, because if you have to open a gift in front of somebody, then the spotlight's on you, and it's like, you gotta give a good reaction even though it's not a good gift. Like someone gave you a comb, and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. I hate it. I hate it. I don't know how people do it.
no rules about using both hands or a certain hand when giving or receiving a gift. Just grab it and open it already. Number 5. Be ready for small talk. How about that game last night? Whew. When's this weather gonna let up already? Yes, Americans love small talk. So don't be surprised if a stranger just starts chatting with you while you're waiting in line or sharing an elevator. It could be sports, the weather, traffic, anything just to have a short, light conversation. I can't really say why we like talking to people we don't even know. But, I mean, if you're sharing a space with someone, are you just going to totally ignore their presence? That'd be awkward. Oh yeah, and you'll get asked how you're doing a lot, even by strangers. It's usually waiters and cashiers that'll greet you with a, "Hi, how are you today?" Just answer with "Fine, and you?" Even if you're not exactly having a fantastic day.
I am so bad at
Number
small
6.
talk, I can't stand
Expect
it.
a lot of smiles. First of all, let me bust the myth that Americans constantly walk around smiling ear to ear. Nobody does that, because that'd be weird. But again, if you're sharing a space and making small talk with a stranger, or maybe someone opens or holds the door for you, they'll smile at you, and it's polite if you do the same. Cashiers and
The
waiters
moment you
also
speak to a
greet you with a
stranger,
big
people
friendly
smile.
smile. I read somewhere that this goes back to our early history as a country built by people who all spoke different languages. They didn't understand each other all that well, so they just smiled. But I still think we just like to be open and kind.
I thought this
Number
was just
7.
all human
Respect
tendency.
the
I thought all
bubble.
humans smile when they talk to each
Now,
other.
here's a pretty funny thing about Americans. We're friendly, we love to chat, but we also really like our personal bubble. The unspoken rule is to stand about an arm's length away when you're talking with someone. We're also not too big on touching during conversation, because this can be misconstrued as a way of flirting. Of course, the rule doesn't apply with close friends and family, but
I don't see a
still,
problem with
even
touching,
then,
to be honest with
most
you.
Americans aren't too touchy-feely.
I don't see a problem with touching
Number 8.
at all.
And definitely
People are
no
just soft
kissing.
today.
I know in countries like Spain and France, people often greet each other with a peck or two on the cheek.
That's weird.
There might be some
That's
Americans who greet the European way, but overall, we don't kiss each other as a
No.
way to say hi.
weird. No.
Again, my personal bubble is my sanctuary, so don't come in it with puckered lips ablazing. Mwah, mwah, mwah. It's best to just say hi, smile, and keep it at that.
Get your meaty
Number
lips
9.
away from me.
Being loud is usually
Unless you're a
okay.
pretty female. Then
The stereotype of the loud American tourist might ring true most of the time, since we tend to project our voices, even out in public. It's not that we're yelling all the time, but I'd say we certainly speak louder than people in Europe or Asia. I've gotten some friendly reminder to take it down a few decibels when visiting my friends abroad. But hey, if you're ever in the States, feel free to laugh out loud or get particularly animated while telling a joke. But of course, there's a time and place for that. You still have to hush down in places like libraries.
I don't know. I've seen some pretty rambunctious
Number 10.
Irish people.
Indirectness
So-
is politeness. So here's the thing about Americans. A direct, no, I don't want, or like that, is seen as pretty rude. But if an American gives you a polite, no thanks, I'd rather not, or I don't think that's the best idea, that doesn't mean that they're on the fence about it. No means no, even if it's said indirectly and super politely.
Yeah.
It's frowned upon to try and convince someone to do something or change their mind because it's seen as pushy and disrespectful to their wishes.
People need to learn that.
Number 11. Sit in the
People need to
back seat of a
understand
cab. Now this is something interesting I found out about Australia and New Zealand. There, it's considered rude to take the back seat of a cab because it's almost like you're showing that you expect to be chauffeured by someone who's lower than you. Well, don't worry about that in the US. In fact, you should ride in the back seat because the driver might give you a weird look otherwise.
They
It's
ride in
not
the
an
front
elitist
seat?
thing, and you can still make friendly small talk from the back.
Are you crazy?
Just respect the driver's personal bubble, that's all.
Ain't no way I'm sitting right
Number
next
12.
to a stranger.
Feel free to keep
I
your
need a little
shoes
bit of
on
space.
inside. I had a friend from Russia recently ask me, why is it that in all American movies, people are walking around their house with their shoes on? And I just told him straight up, because that's what we do.
Not me.
Now, there are plenty of families here that don't have a no shoes indoors policy, although I'd say the majority don't. So here's a good rule of etiquette to live by if you ever visit an American's home. When you walk in, ask if you should take your shoes off at the door.
Don't do that.
If they say, nah, you're okay, don't feel bad about walking around their house in your shoes. I know it seems bizarre to most people around the world, but it's A-okay here.
99% of people wear shoes in their
13.
house.
It's okay to keep it casual. Overall, I'd say the biggest thing about Americans is that most of us are pretty casual and laid back. If you're ever
Thank you
out
very
and
much.
about in the U.S., you'll see a lot of people running errands in sweatpants, gym shorts, baseball caps, and even their PJs. But it's not just about clothes either. We often keep it on a first-name basis, even with people that are generally referred to more formally in other countries. For example, most of the time your boss is just Jim or Janet, not Mr. or Mrs. Jones. You might start off more formally, but I guarantee you that that person will say right off the bat, "Hey, call me Jim." Now, what would be weird is if their name isn't Jim. Maybe it's Howard or Benny. Then what you say is, "Hey, call me a cab." So, are any of these Americanisms different or the same in your country?
Okay, I kind of
And
understood
to
that
all my
list.
fellow
Most of it
Americans.
was true. There's some things I agree with, some things I disagree with. Like the server thing, most people probably don't know, like, the servers don't get paid as much. They're probably paid like $4 an hour, which is why the tip is like factored into their pay scale, not like other countries. I think they get paid more of a base salary in other countries, and US it's more an additional, the tip is expected. So that's kind of the difference. Now, why is that the case? I don't know. I guess these restaurants in US are skimping and then the customer has to pay for it. I don't know. The sitting in the cab, are you crazy? I ain't sitting like that to a complete stranger. That's weird. I'm going in the back seat. No offense. But the shoes inside thing, that's a lot of baloney. I'm telling you right now. 99% of people in America could not care less whether you're wearing shoes or not. It's just so it's like neat freaks who are always like, take off your shoes when entering. However, if it is your first time in someone's house, I would just ask, because it can't hurt, you know what I'm saying? I hate opening gifts in front of people because you are required to make a scene. Like, if you just go, oh yeah, it's nice, you are the jerk for not giving the proper reaction to the gift. Whereas my ideal gift receiving scenario, you give me the gift, I'm like, oh, thank you very much, thank you very much. I'll give a hug or whatever, and then I'll just take it and I'll like put it to the side and I will open that later when there's no one around me. Because I don't want to open it and be like, whoa! No, I ain't doing that. I ain't doing that. But yeah, this list was fairly accurate. I agree with 99% of what it said. Anyways, I really did enjoy this video. If you guys did too, make sure to smash that like, comment, and subscribe. It means the world to me. It truly does. If there's anything you want me to react to, drop it in the comments. I'll be happy to do it. Have a great day, everybody. Take it easy.